Crowds gather early in the morning near the federal building as cold air settles over Minneapolis. A lone camera operator prepares equipment, while reporters set up along the sidewalk. Flashes of red and blue lights reflect off wet pavement as federal vehicles arrive. Protesters hold handmade signs calling for transparency and justice. Federal officers stand in formation, monitoring the growing crowd. A quiet tension spreads across the street as more people join the demonstration. Reporters speak into microphones, updating their networks on the developing situation. Community organizer addresses the crowd through a megaphone, urging calm. Families hold candles and flowers in memory of the woman who lost her life. Police cordon off surrounding intersections, redirecting traffic. A cold wind sweeps through, rattling protest signs and banners. A group of volunteers hands out masks and water to demonstrators. Helicopters hover overhead, capturing aerial footage of the gathering. News alerts roll across screens as national networks begin live coverage. Officials arrive at the federal building and enter without answering questions. Protesters chant messages of unity and demand accountability. A faith leader leads a short prayer, calling for peace in the city. Officers shift positions, widening the perimeter around the building. A journalist interviews a witness who describes hearing shouting the previous day. A small child places a flower near a growing memorial. Candle flames flicker in the icy wind, illuminating handwritten notes. An activist shares a message urging people to protect each other. Drone cameras sweep over the scene, capturing the scale of the gathering. Federal officials walk past reporters without comment, fueling frustration. News analysts discuss conflicting statements surrounding the investigation. The Minnesota Attorney General speaks on camera, expressing deep concern. Legal experts debate the federal government, blocking state officials from the case. Protesters react with disappointment as updates circulate online. A community member leads a peaceful march around the block. Officers observe quietly, keeping distance as the crowd moves. The governor's office announces an emergency briefing scheduled later in the day. Organizers call for nonviolence and cooperation among everyone present. Cold weather intensifies, but the crowd remains determined. Social media posts from around the country amplify the situation. A Border Patrol official is seen walking near the building, drawing attention. Protesters ask questions, but the official gives no response. A reporter narrates the public's growing demand for transparency. Analysis screens show maps of the protest zone and security perimeters. A community leader explains long-standing tensions in Minneapolis. News anchors replay earlier footage showing conflicting accounts. A civil rights attorney comments on the need for an independent investigation. Neighbors express fear and confusion about the heavy federal presence. Business owners nearby stand in their doorways watching the situation unfold. A local resident shares concerns about increased security in recent weeks. A crowd forms a protective circle around the memorial site. The governor steps to a podium and addresses the nation. He calls for calm, patience, and a full investigation. He confirms that state agencies have been blocked from participating. Journalists react with surprise and ask follow-up questions. The Department of Public Safety clarifies its involvement. A legal expert explains why state participation is crucial in cases like this. Protesters listen to updates on their phones and radios. A group holds hands, forming a line in front of the memorial. Video screens display national leaders commenting on the incident. Statements from federal officials appear cautious and limited. A counter-protester appears briefly, but the crowd encourages peace. Authorities escort the individual away as the situation calms again. A pastor speaks softly to grieving family members at the memorial. Organizers tie ribbons to nearby fences as a symbol of solidarity. Reporters interview members of the immigrant community gathered there. A mother expresses concern for her children's safety. A student explains how the situation affects local schools. Community groups distribute warm clothing to protesters in the freezing weather. The crowd breaks into quiet singing, honoring the deceased woman. A journalist provides updates on the FBI taking control of the case. State officials express frustration at the lack of cooperation. The Attorney General questions the federal government's decision. Analysts discuss potential political ramifications. National commentators debate leadership response from Washington. The mayor of Minneapolis makes a public statement, urging transparency. He acknowledges the city's history of unrest and its emotional wounds. City officials stress the importance of gathering all evidence before conclusions. A memorial video of the woman's life begins circulating online. Friends and family share stories about her personality and accomplishments. A poet she once knew posts a tribute describing her love for creativity. Her father speaks briefly in an interview, expressing heartbreak. The community lights more candles, creating a glowing path along the street. Soft snowfall begins, and the memorial becomes even more emotional. Protesters kneel together for a moment of silence. Reporters narrate the quiet scene as the camera pans over candles and flowers. Federal officials remain behind barricades, watching from a distance. Journalists confirm that Congress is requesting updates about the case. Political analysts discuss shifting attitudes toward immigration policy. Local leaders encourage the community to stay peaceful and united. Nightfall approaches, and the memorial lights grow brighter. The crowd slowly thins, but some stay behind to keep vigil. The closing narration highlights unanswered questions, ongoing investigations, and a community seeking justice, truth, and healing.